أعزائي المشاهدين، أهلا بيكم. والنهاردة حلقة خاصة بصراحة، وطبعا ميعادها مش زي ميعاد كل الحلقات، لأن في موضوع مهم جدا، موضوع البيرنتال رايتس. الموضوع ده بقى دلوقتي موضوع شائك جدا، وكل الجاليات، أمريكان، كل الجنسيات ابتدت دلوقتي بتطالب إنها تعرف إيه اللي بيحصل لأولادها في المدارس. وطبعا احنا كنا فتحنا الشهر اللي فات الموضوع ده مع السيناتور أوتشوا بوغ، جت في الاستوديو واتكلمنا عن الموضوع، وكلمتنا بكل صراحة وقالت لنا إن في ناس من الحكومة طبعا مش مبسوطين باللي بيحصل، which is حاجة تفرحنا احنا إن ممكن نوصل صوتنا فعلا وممكن ناس تساعدنا. فالفترة اللي فاتت دي كان في كلام كتير قوي عن البيرنتال رايتس والمدارس والمناهج واللي بيحصل طبعا بسبب دخول العام الدراسي الجديد. ف كان في أنشطة، في نشاطات لكذا منظمة عشان حقوق الآباء والأبناء كمان في المدارس. فبصراحة ما كانش ينفع نبقى بعيد عن الموضوع ده. احنا ككوميونيتي عربي احنا بعيد، فما ينفعش نفضل بعيد. احنا كلنا لينا نفس الحقوق وعلينا نفس الواجبات. فالنهاردة استضفت الناس اللي فعلا تقدر تشرح لنا اللي بيحصل، هم عملوا ايه عشان احنا كمان نشوف احنا دورنا ايه ونعمل ايه. فدي حاجة كويسة جدا، وانا مبسوطة جدا ان هم قبلوا دعوتي وجم النهاردة معانا في الحلقة. خلوكم معانا، حلقة مهمة جدا، ويا ريت كلنا نعمل ايه؟ نعمل شير، عشان انا عايزة الكلام ده يوصل لكل العرب اللي في امريكا. كلنا لازم نشوف ده، فلو سمحتوا كلنا نوصل الرسالة اللي هنسمعها النهاردة. أنا هرحب باللي موجودين معايا النهاردة، وسامحوني إن الحلقة طبعا معظمها هتبقى بالإنجليش، وهحاول على قد ما أقدر إن أنا أخد كده كام جملة بالعربي. Okay. Good evening and thank you all for being here and thank you for accepting my invitation. Okay, so we'll start quickly because we have a lot to do, a lot to say. So let's start by introducing ourselves by a small, like what you're doing, your name and what you're doing. Okay, start with you.
Hello, my name is Manuk, Grigoryan. I'm with Leave Our Kids Alone organization that's based out of Los Angeles County, and I'm here fighting for my parental rights and my children's innocence.
Very good. Ben?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Ben Richards. I'm the founder of SoCal Parent Advocates. I'm one of the original members of the DAD Army and a member of the California Parent Union and on the board of directors of the Concerned Parents of California PAC. And right now we're seeking to empower parent groups across SoCal in our efforts to help them defend their rights right now.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jordan Henry. I am a candidate for Glendale Unified School Board in Glendale. I am working very hard to make sure that parental rights are indeed protected, and then also that the schools reprioritize achievement and excellence in their education, and instead of spending valuable resources and time on ideologies such as what we're seeing in the schools and violating the rights of both students and parents, we need to reinvest into math, English, literacy, history, and science.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jordan, for being here too. Okay, last month, I had the pleasure and honor of interviewing State Senator Ochoa Bogh. Senator Ochoa Bogh shed light on the issue of parental rights. Not many in our communities knew about it. I want to thank her for encouraging us to make our voices heard on this topic. Today, we have Senator Ochoa Bogh on the line with us. Hi, Senator.
Hello, Dalia. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much for first of all, for interviewing me a month ago and definitely carrying on the fight for parental rights or the awareness.
Oh yeah, we thank you for being with us today too, again. Okay, Senator, this issue of parental rights become a very important topic everywhere now. Since our interview, like last interview we did with you, like all the community speaking about it. So which is, I really want to thank you about that. We are all wondering if there is any update on bills regarding parental rights.
Well, right now is a great time to be very aware of where we are legislatively. In the next 2 weeks, so September 14th, 15th will be our last day in session. We'll be reviewing and voting on bills that have left the House of Origin, the Senate, or the Assembly, and are coming up for a final vote. So right now is a great time where we can speak to certain bills in appropriations, or email, call the members in your district that represent your district, whether it's Assembly or the Senate, to let them know how you feel about the final bills that are important. So right now we're heading on to the last 2 weeks of session where we'll be voting on many of these bills before they head to the governor.
So we are in a good timing now. So we need to do something as soon as we can, right? Yeah, that's why actually today, we are a special episode and we rushed in this episode because, as also Jordan told us, this 2 weeks is really important. Thank you, Senator, for the answer of this question. And Senator, there has been a lot of pushback from school district about these laws, such as what happened in Chino Valley Unified School District. Do you think this will help change the situation, or what do you think?
Which part? In addressing which part would change the...
We see a lot of pushback from the school district. Some school districts, they are pushing back very hard in the new laws. And do you think that will help change the situation, the bills, or is there any good result from this?
So I think the most important part is that more than ever, we're now informing parents of the policy that is being discussed and being signed into law. We haven't had much engagement, much awareness as to where we've been heading in the legislature when it comes to policy, education, and parental rights. But because of the nature, because we're starting to discuss it, we're becoming more aware of it, we're seeing more engagement on that front. Bills that have already been passed are signed, they're into law. However, many of them, if found unconstitutional, will be challenged, it could be challenged in court. So that is the one way where parents, if they're more vocal and always in a respectful way, right? It's dialogue. We want to make sure that we have this in a respectful way, but ensuring that we let the school districts know that many of these laws are really conflicting with our rights as parents. But we have to be aware that some of these laws may be unconstitutional. They have to be proven in court. And I think some parents are actually taking that lead and that action to challenge these laws. So we're working on, there's groups that are working on that front. But right now, when it comes to the new bills that we're addressing, especially when it comes to materials being accessed in school, I think those are the ones that we need to let the authors know, and we need to let the our local elected assembly members and senators know how we feel about that policy. So there are still new laws that are going through the process that need to hear from you, so that there's a little pressure on there, or a lot of pressure, so that they can think twice about voting in support of those bills and letting them know, hey, we're paying attention, and we want to make sure that where this bill is going, and we want you to know that we're not supportive of this particular bill.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Senator. I have some question from my guests. So, Jordan asked, why is the legislature attacking parental rights? Does a child have the same privacy rights as their parents, even though the child is the dependent?
That's an excellent, I'm not sure. Did you have somebody in particular you would like to answer that question?
Yeah, Jordan asked that question. We have Jordan Henry. He's a candidate for Glendale School District Board. Right,
yes.
Jordan? Yeah.
Yep.
So, he asked this question for you, Senator.
I could elaborate if you're...
So there's a lot of thought process that's going on between parental rights, and mostly it has to do with LGBTQ rights. And students are from LGBTQ demographics. So part of the reason why these bills are being introduced is because it's been brought to the attention that many of these LGBTQ students feel that they are unsafe. And so this is an attempt for the legislature to create an environment where they feel would be a safer environment for these students. And so that's the primary underlying reasoning or rationale behind many of these bills. So because a handful of parents, for one reason or another, are not able to fulfill, and this is usually the case for many of these bills, the rationale behind that these bills is that because a handful of parents are not able to fulfill their duties as parents, and therefore, they become, quote unquote, a threat to the safety and well-being of these students, of their children, we're now passing laws that will remove all parents' ability to parent and make decisions on behalf of their children. When in reality, we already have a statute that protects many of these children from any physical, sexual abuse or neglect. We already have laws in place that protect these students. But for some reason right now, we're stretching that a little bit further and saying, no, if we need to protect these students, we need to literally apply laws that impact both well-meaning parents as well as those parents that are not able to fulfill their duties as parents. And that's that's the main thought process behind many of these bills.
Yes, and this is, I think this is not right, like, not because some parents not doing their job, like everyone get punishment like this. Yeah, another question, yes, Senator, we have from Ben. So, Senator Ochoa, as we are parents who are directly affected by the anti-parents bills in committee in Sacramento, could you discuss with us the bill concerning parental rights, such as AB 1078 and another bills? So if we can take this one right now, Bill AB 1078.
Could you let me, I didn't have the bill numbers prior to, so I couldn't research them. Could you let me know what the topic is about, which bill this one addresses, and I'll be more than happy.
Yeah, I have it here. But I have it in the slide. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me open the slide. Which was a hard one.
Yeah, 1078 would be
1078.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to read it? Oh, it's here. Okay. Do you want to read it?
Yeah, it would essentially require local school boards to adopt curriculum and materials that the state has approved. The state sets standards, and local districts have up until this point been able to adopt curriculum as they sought fit locally. But now, like in Temecula Valley, the state was requiring them to do it with the threat of a fine. Mm-hmm. And then there would be further investigations and potentially defunding of local districts from the state level. And then there's also the fact that they're raising the bar for removing material to, instead of a simple majority on local school districts, to a 2/3 vote, which would make it more difficult to remove material that local districts would find problematic.
And this is important because, if I may, this is important because one of the things that we have been doing as parent groups is going through these districts and finding books within the school districts that we believe are pornographic. So this bill, AB 1078, would prevent us from lobbying school boards with board members that are friendly to the parental right cause and removing those books.
In the discussion within that, if you look a little further into that bill, it actually also states, and why it's a little concerning for me, not a little, it's concerning for me, not just because of what the previous speakers have mentioned that's included in the bill, but right now the coverage behind that is the justification that it's material addressing or affirming LGBTQ students. So anything that has to do with LGBTQ would be considered protected under the state as materials that are basically, if it has a label of LGBTQ concerning issues, then it's protected because it's a protected class. It now includes that as a protected class. And that is key because it doesn't necessarily address the issues such as inappropriate age material. It only covers, or it will be covered under or protected under LGBTQ issues or topics. And that's what's really interesting about the language, because it's all about language and the technicality of how it's being being addressed. So it's not the fact that it's LGBTQ, it's the fact that it might also include age inappropriate material. But because it's LGBTQ, it will be protected from being banned, or not banned, removed. I don't care for the word banned. I care more for the word removed because it's not appropriate for these children.
Yes, right.
Yeah, and those books that we're talking about, Senator, I'm sure you've seen them. And exactly right. It seems to be a war on words because they lump it under LGBTQ books, but you can have many other LGBTQ books that are not pornographic, such as this book is gay, genderqueer, fun home, and stuff like that. So it's a very difficult issue to communicate across the lines, and we're trying our best we can here.
And it's not included. The verbiage age appropriate is not actually included in the bill. I don't remember reading that in the bill when we discussed it in committee, in which I spoke against this bill respectfully with the author. And that was the main concern that I have. And I think that's one of the things that we really need to focus as parents, as we advocate against this bill. It's the fact that we're not, well, not LGBTQ targeting issues, but it's the fact that many of these materials are literally not age appropriate. And I think that's the angle that we need to focus on.
Thank you, Senator. So my last question for you, as a parents, all of us, I want to ask you, Senator, what else we can do to help protecting our kids?
I think we need to have respectful civil conversations with everyone in our sphere of influence, letting people know, because many individuals, and this is not, and I want to make clear, this is not a Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative issue. This is a parental right.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, for this particular bill by Assembly member from Riverside County, who spoke against who sponsored AB 1078, we had Democrat parents, we had independent parents, we had Republican parents, we had all parents from across political demographics speaking against these bills and many of these bills. So once again, we want to make sure that we are engaged in these conversations, that we're letting parents know, sharing the information in our social media outlets, and ensuring that we are aware, because many a times the well-meaning policy by many of the members of the legislature, they feel that this is what Californians want. And when we talk to constituents in our district, we learned that in reality, many of the constituents are just not aware of the policy that is being discussed or is being voted on in Sacramento. So the loudest group who have learned the power of their voice, who have learned how to engage in the legislative process, are the ones that are directing the policy, and that's what happens in a democratic process like ours, in a republic, where we have we vote according to our district, and we try to represent our district. But in order to do that, we need to know what exactly is representative of our district. So this is why parents more than ever need to let other parents know and be well informed. Read the policy, read the bill. Don't just take little excerpts here and there, because that's where we become uninformed or we are misled. Read the bill and discuss it, share it with individuals, and engage in the legislative process.
Thank you so much, Senator. I really appreciate all the effort you giving us, your time, and you're trying to educate us, especially my community, by you being here with us. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much for carrying the message forward. Thank you for letting the Arab community be aware of where we are in the legislature, for educating, for engaging, and thank you for this program. I really appreciate the time to this topic.
And we want you to be with us again.
Absolutely. No, you call and I'll be there. We'll make it work.
It's my pleasure and it's an honor to me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a great night.
Have a great evening. Take care, everyone.
You too.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. She's just such a great lady, and she's really supportive, and I love all her point of views. Actually.
Absolutely, and I
Yeah.
watched your interview with her. I thought it was great. You guys did a great job.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, I wish we have a lot like her. Like that will make a big difference.
Don't we all? Absolutely.
Yeah, we're trying to.
Yes.
Trying to.
She's setting the standard.
Yeah. Okay, so parental rights. This subject is so close to my heart. I am a mom of 3 daughters. I have 2 adults, and the youngest one is 15 years old. But of course, like I don't have kids, but I have niece, I have nephew. We have a lot of kids, like our future grandkids. Like, yeah. So this is a message, and it's our part to do it. We cannot just stay away and say, oh, let's do it. We can take care of our kids at home. We can do that. And actually, I cannot imagine that I don't know what's going on with my kids in school, especially with their health and education. Like, this is hard. So this is my story, and this is why I'm trying to get light in this point. So I want to hear each one of you, like your stories, why you're doing this. Like, we'll start with Manuk.
I'm a proud father of 4 beautiful girls. They are attending LAUSD, Sadiko Elementary School. This started for me in June 2nd when we found out they're having a gay assembly, pride assembly event at a local elementary school. My children are 4 years old. I have 2 twin daughters, 4 years old, and I have another set of twin daughters, 8 years old. And for them to sexualize and groom our children at this very young age, it's not the right way to teach and educate children. So we had a petition signed in our school. 500 parents signed a petition in trying to cancel this assembly, but they ignored us. We tried to reach our district officials. They ignored us. Mr. Carvalho, he's the superintendent, and he totally ignored our messages, our emails, our phone calls, and but then on the day of the protest, they were all over there supporting the what is known as Antifa, which is part of LGBTQ. And my fight is for my children. The innocence my children have is very important to me. There's nothing else I'd rather do than protect my children and protect my parental rights.
And you are Armenian, right?
I'm Armenian, and
it's so close to us.
Yes, and my family traditions, my family values, they're all being ignored. And for someone to push their ideology on our families and our children, but once you want to speak up, they will mark you with a bunch of bad names, which should not matter, because this is protecting my children and my religion and my family values and morals. And I don't preach my family value to anyone else, so why would you want to preach that on me? I mean, this is grooming. This is grooming at a very young age of children, and we as parents, we need to stand up. And every single one of our voice will be heard if we all stand up together as a unit. And this fight is for God's fight. This is bad and evil fighting for our parental rights and our children's future. Like you said, not only for our children, but for our grandchildren and great-grandchildren, you know. We have to stand now. This is the time to make a move right now.
And what you did, like?
We took it to
Tell
the
us.
streets. We took it to the streets, and we fought LAUSD saying that you need to listen to us as parents. And on June 2nd, what happened at Sarico Elementary School in North Hollywood got a nationwide attention, even worldwide attention, where we had people ordering T-shirts from Canada, from Virginia. Our T-shirts went to England even. A lot of people are interested, and slowly they're waking up. And for me, it's an incredible honor to be here, and thank you for having us here, because I think we need to reach all communities, Arab communities, Muslim communities, Jewish communities. It doesn't matter your nationality, it doesn't matter your race or your religion. If you're a parent, you
It's
need
about
to
kids,
stand up,
right.
protect your children, know exactly what's happening in their school. You leave your children in school 7 hours, 8 hours a day.
Yes.
And you trust the school system and the teachers, thinking everything's safe and you will be informed of everything. But come find out, they're hiding secrets from you. And if you want to be part of your children's life, like we encourage all parents to be part of their children's life, all of a sudden you become an extremist, or people start giving you bad names, saying you're spreading hateful message.
Yeah.
But what hateful message I'm saying? All I'm saying is leave my kids alone
Leave our
and
kids
give me
alone.
my parental rights.
Yes.
This is all I'm asking. I'm not asking for fame or money or power. You know, I'm simply want to be part of my children's education and life and be informed of everything that's happening to my children and not be kept in secrets.
Yeah. So, and we met in Zarali, Leave Our Kids Alone. It was great, it was amazing.
Yes, that's because of many small rallies that's been happening all across Southern California, starting with LAUSD, Glendale USD, Temecula Valley USD, Chino Valley, Murrieta. Orange County is about to start a parental right notification on the 7th. So the parents are waking up and communities are waking up, and we had enough of being lied to and keep secrets from. You know, I escaped communism to come and immigrate in this country to get the freedom that this country provides for me. These people are screaming they want communism back, and they're calling me a fascist. You know how ridiculous it is to call a person who escaped communism to be called a fascist. You know, I escaped Soviet Union to be here and free, and I'm not going to support communism. And this is exactly what they are pushing. And like the senator says, this has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican.
Correct.
They're calling me a far-right extremist when I'm a Democrat. This has nothing to do with what politics you follow. This is strictly parents raising up, Republicans and Democrats, saying enough is enough. We are going to stand up for our children, and we're not going to give up. We're going to fight and protect our children as long as it takes.
Okay, yeah. This is exactly what we have. Like, we have the same maybe tradition and the same culture and everything. Yeah. Good job.
Right on, Manu.
Yeah, good
Right on.
job.
Thank you, Manu.
Yeah, thank you, Manu. Thank you for doing this for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have Lusine. Lusine, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Dalia?
Yes. Hi, Lusine.
Hi, Dalia. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for accepting my invitation. So,
My honor.
Lusine, Armenian mother, now you are a member of Leave Our Kids Alone, and now you are so famous. Look at you, like everyone knows, like Lusine. Like she talked about her kids, and she fight for her kids. I love what you're doing, Lusine. Great job. So can you tell us more about what you're doing and what is the story behind it?
Sure. Hi, Dalia. Again, thank you for having us here. Like you said, I'm a mother of three with LAUSD, a member of Leave Our Kids Alone organization. We're same group as with Manuk. Our kids go to the same school, same district, and that's how we got activated, was that assembly on June 2nd that was supposed to be a Pride Day assembly. Before that, we were regular parents who dropped off our kids, went to work, busy schedules, did the activities, and thought that's all we had to do because we were trusting the adults at school. I guess our message or intent with this, the intent wasn't to be famous by all means, but what I do want to share with other moms or parents is there's so much we can be doing. There's so much that we've learned that we weren't really aware of because we thought we didn't need to. But you can get involved in your local schools, in your local school districts. Again, you have rights. You have constitutional rights. I feel like a lot of us see things that are wrong and we think, oh, it's just me. Nobody else is going to agree with me. So we stay silent and we sit back and we accept, oh, this is okay. This is okay. But then you find out and it hits home when it happens to your child, your school. I guess my message is pretend like it is your kids, because trust me, the parental notification rights that we're, wanting to get passed across California is affecting your school district right now, which means your child can go to school, they can call Jackie, and Jackie will have a different record at school and the parent will not know about it. So your child comes home and they're Jack, but at school they're Jackie. So this is what we're fighting really hard for when we say we don't want the schools or the teachers, the counselors to keep secrets from us. We want to be involved in our kids' lives, right? Regardless of what that means. I want to support my child if they're going through that. I should be the first point of contact, not a psychologist at school and, no other stranger. So when you know what you're asking for is right and true and we're doing things, with our faith, I just want to, again, I guess, empower all the moms to stand together, stand up, and voice your concerns. Go to your school board meetings, listen in. Slowly but surely, you'll see what's going on, and then you'll just pay a little bit more closer attention to what's going on in their everyday lives.
Okay, yeah, that's great, Lusine. We really need we need to do what you're doing. We need to take care of our kids. And I got a good message from Manuk and you. You know what is it? We need to follow up with our kids. We cannot just say, they are at school and they are fine. We need to know what's going on at school. I like what they said,
it's detrimental.
Right? Yeah.
And again, there's rules. For example, each parent can spend 20 minutes a day on campus. This is your right as a parent. It doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Every single day, each parent can spend 20 minutes on campus observing. So go to the classroom, right? Look at what they're talking about. Ask the principal if you could do a tour of the library and look at some of the books that are readily available for your kids and see if you agree with it. Before you even go to the library, you can research and see the horrible books that exist. So when you're going to the libraries, you're already looking out for the bad books that you don't want to be there because, like the senator was saying, they're just not age appropriate. So our organization and our message has been since day one, our battle is not really with the LGBTQ community at all. As adults, they can make any decisions that they want. But the 4-year-olds, the elementary kids, even the high school kids, they're still kids, right? They're not adults. Yeah. And when they're under our supervision, it's our God-given right as parents to protect them. Like Manuk said, to protect their innocence, right? That's what God gave me the power to do as a parent. So no governmental elected official can take that away from us. And for them to attempt that overreach is, to me, unconstitutional. And I think what the senator mentioned is a really good point. It's our constitutional rights that are being infringed upon, and we have to fight back. If not, they're going to keep thinking it's okay, and they'll just keep taking more of it.
Yes, correct. And Lusine, you have attended the school meeting, right? The school board meeting, right? So yes. Can you tell us about this too? What should we do to attend? So can we just go to the school district and ask when is the meeting, or how you did it?
Sure. So usually school boards will meet, at least for LAUSD, I'll speak on that. That's what I'm familiar with. LAUSD meets 2 Tuesdays out of every month. It's usually at 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. The way it works, if you want to go and speak and have a speech, 24 hours prior to the meeting date, you register online to be a speaker. You can go and listen in, though, the day of. So if you just want to simply go be a guest, sit in the auditorium and listen in, you can do that without pre-registering. But to speak there, you do have to register 24 hours in advance. I'm sure Jordan will speak more on Glendale Unified's procedures, but I believe with them, if you want to speak, you simply arrive a few hours prior to and you pick up a speaking card. You get in line to be able to have your place and speak there.
So it's easy to go and speak, right? It's easy.
Very easy. Again, These are rights that we have as community members. That's what they're relying on. But when
we don't know anything
up,
about it. We don't know that.
Right. When we don't show up, you give them more power because there's nobody opposing these things, right? So they think, everybody must be okay with it because nobody's coming to say, no, I don't want this.
Let me ask you another question, Lusine. Because you're a mom, you're a parent. So when you did that, you didn't feel any fears, what will happen after that? Do you think they will know my kid's name and they will treat them bad or any? Do you have any of these fears?
No. In fact, I'm on Antifa's website, so they have my picture, my name, and information, personal information, probably, and it's fine. I'm not afraid, honestly, because prior to every event, prior to June 2nd, prior to our recent rally last Tuesday, we start off everything with a prayer, right? We're very religious as Armenians, we're Christian, and my faith will not allow me to be fearful of Antifa or anybody else that's going to stand between me and my child. So when you're doing things in the name of God and with your faith, I don't think anything can stop you or scare you to sit back down. In fact, that's what should motivate you and encourage you to stand up, because now not only am I protecting my kids, but I'm also protecting my faith, right? Mm-hmm. When you know all of this is so against what we believe in, how can you not speak up? And honestly, I think what I'm most surprised at is how easy all of this has been. Really, all I had to do was go to a school board meeting and speak up. That's how easy it was. Just show up. Wow. There's not much. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not difficult at all. Or even
I was shocked too when you said that. I feel is that easy? It's really easy. But look, because we don't know about it. We don't know it's our right to go. So thank you for this message. I will say it in Arabic after you're done, because this is really important one. But
and when we get to talking about the bills, which I'm sure you'll do, even that, when you oppose a bill, when you're not for it, you're against it, all you do is you call a number and you say, I oppose AB 1078. That's it, one sentence. Mm-hmm. So similar to your community, Armenians there's a lot of Armenians who don't speak a word of English. Mm-hmm. But I feel like even that, you know what I mean? I can get somebody to memorize that one sentence and say, just call and say, I oppose AB 1078. That's it. You don't have to explain why. You don't have to go into any more details than that. But the fact that you call and they hear your name, they see a different phone number calling, that's the community that they represent. So why wouldn't we use our rights, our civil rights? And I think that's the greatest part about us living in America. Like Manuk said, we escaped Armenia to come here for these exact rights. So when we don't exercise those rights, it's almost you lose it. So why lose something that's already given to you by us living in this great country, right? My family back in Armenia is surprised that we're freely able to go to the streets and protest. I said, yes, this is it's our right to do this. So nobody can stop us. If we're against something, you have the right to go out and protest against it or speak up against it. It's, I think, small things that we take for granted.
Yes, since it's peaceful, so we don't know anything. We don't do anything wrong.
Right.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you're doing great. And keep doing what you're doing. And I wish everyone listening to us now will join us and will be a huge member, so a lot of numbers, so we can make our voices heard. Thank you, Lusine. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Next time you need to be with us in the studio, okay? Next time.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dalia.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you, Lusine. Bye. Okay. Ben.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I met you at the rally, and you were wearing a T-shirt saying Dead Army. Remember? It was a green one, I remember, right? And I stopped you. I asked you, like, oh, why you're doing this, and what are you doing? And you said, you told me, like, you are the founder of SoCal Parents Advocates, and you said, I remember exactly, you said, like, oh, thank you for being here, and you were thank everyone for being there in the rally, and you were like, we're here for our kids, and you inspired everyone around you.
Good. I'm
Yeah.
glad. Thank you.
So yeah, you inspired me.
Awesome.
Like,
You inspired me.
yeah. I was watching how, like, you all actually, guys, you were full of energy. You take it seriously because it's our kids' future. So what inspired you to do this organization and to come from San Diego? By the way, let me introduce you. You came all the way from San Diego, right?
Yes, I did.
And even for the rally on LA, you came from San Diego. So you're here most of the time.
Yeah, right. This is the
Yeah.
hot spots up here. I like where the action is.
Okay, so can you tell us what inspired you?
Well, so my activation story is about 2 years ago. I have children down in San Diego Unified. They're in elementary school. And I found out that school, they made an elementary school lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer club. They don't call it that. It was the LGBTQ plus club. I've never been against the club, ever. I just wanted to know if my little children showed up.
How old is your kid?
Say again?
How old? You're
At that time, there were 6.
6.
So I just wanted to know if they showed up, because what they're going to be talking about in there. And I wasn't allowed to stop by and see what they do in there. So that's kind of when I started pulling the thread, and I respectfully requested to be notified if they showed up to any club, and they said no. And then went to the board, and then they ignored me, and then they said no. So that was my activation story. And then I would cut my teeth, because I do some photography as a hobby. So that's how I became regional, and I would go to the neighboring parent groups to help them, because I knew that they were going through the same thing there. And so I guess what inspired me to continue on is that I saw people, parents in need, these parents who were speaking out about their family boundaries being crossed by the public education system, which we pay for as taxpayers. I was obliged to help any way I can. And that's kind of how I've been going for the last 2 years. And now SoCal Parent Advocates has been blessed to help nearly every parent group from LA County on down. And we believe that the parent groups are where the rubber meets the road. And we're about empowering these parent groups and to leave our kids alone and these grassroots people. So that's kind of how I got activated. And it comes to find out my story is everybody's story. And this has all brought us here.
Yes.
And, I have military experience, and I've been in conflict and stuff like that. And I was compelled to help these parents who, just like Manuk said, they're attacked and they're slandered. And I couldn't remain quiet. And I have been inspired by that type of courage is with everyone in this room. So this is a circle of inspiration that we're riding on, huh?
That's right.
So we all have the same, if you look at it, we are in the same situations, same
Same thing.
stories.
That's
And-
how me and Ben met, actually, in a rally in Glendale, and none of us
Oh,
live in
really? That was
Glendale.
your first time to meet?
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and we hit it off and became family ever since.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because we have the same target.
Exactly,
Yeah.
same
Same
thing in
target.
heart.
Same, yes,
in heart.
same heart.
Yes, and that for me was because remember, I just wanted to be notified if they showed up to this club.
Very
And that for me was, and I know people heard me say it over and over, I couldn't sleep that night, because anyone who wants to hide things from me about my kids, that's not a friend. And that's
Right.
what propels us to keep going.
Exactly.
correct. That's sad. It's sad.
It is, and
Yeah.
I know I don't speak just for myself. We are not anti-LGBT. That is not what our fight is with. We just want to be notified about major mental changes and emotional changes with our children, for one.
Yeah. It's our parental rights.
Yes.
I mean, if you bring your children to my house, and then after 5 hours you come pick up your child from my house, won't you want to know what happened to your child in my house? Did I feed them? Was I mean to them? You would want to know. So why wouldn't I want to know what happens to my child in school?
Exactly.
And they're keeping it secret from us, and that's not what we're after for. We're after for transparency, which means tell me everything that's happening to my child. Bottom line, everything.
Everything, correct. So let me say small words in Arabic and I will get back to you. Be with you, Jordan. So زي ما سمعنا دلوقتي احنا كلنا في نفس السيتويشن، كلنا خايفين على أولادنا. في رسالة مهمة قوي قالتها لوسين قالت إن هي ابتدت تنزل وتحضر السكول ميتنج، ندخل على السكول ديستريكت بتاعنا اونلاين ونشوف الميتنج بتاعتهم امتى وندخل ونروح نحضر. وقالت كمان ان انت من حقك تتكلم، يعني لو كتبت اسمك قبلها ب 24 ساعه على اونلاين على السكول ديستريكت بتاعتك اونلاين من حقك تروح وتتكلم. فلو مش قادرين نروح ومكسوفين نتكلم على الاقل احضروا السكول ميتنج ده اونلاين، بيبقى اونلاين او انزلوا، ما بيبقاش اونلاين، مش عارفه ما قالتش بيبقى اونلاين، انا بصراحه ما جربتش، بس الفكره اللي قالتها حلوه جدا ودي اللي عرفتها اللي بيحصل في السكول ديستريكت بتاعها، ان هي ابتدت تحضر الميتنج بتاعهم. فكل سكول ديستريكت ليها ميتنج افري ويك تقريبا او افري مانث، انا مش عارفه، كل سكول ديستريكت از ديفرنت. لو سمحتوا شوفوا وانزلوا احضروا مره واحده every 2 weeks. أنا سمعت every 2 weeks. فدي رسالة لوسين. رسالة بن بيقول إن هو عرف إن في كلاب، إحنا عارفين المدارس كلها بتعمل كلابس كتير قوي، كلاب للموسيقى، للرياضة، لكلابات كتير، كلاب ديني. اتفاجئ إن في كلاب عشان يتعلموا اللي هو يعني المواضيع التانية اللي إحنا مش موافقين بيها، اللي هو يعني السيم سكس والكلام ده والتحويل الترانسجندر والكلام ده. فهو اتفاجئ بالكلام دوت، فابتدى راح قال انا مش ضد الموضوع، انا بس عايز حقي ان انا اعرف لو اولادي اشتركوا في الكلاب ده. وطبعا بحكم القوانين الجديده اللي طلعت اللي بتمنع ان المدرسه تقول للبيرنتس ولادهم فين او بيعملوا ايه او اي حاجه عن الولاد، طبعا هو ده اللي خلاه يزعل وعمل المنظمه بتاعتهم اللي هي اسمها عشان انا عايزاكم تبقوا تخشوا برضو تبصوا على المنظمات دي، اسمها SoCal Parents Advocates. واشترك هو والبيرنتس التانيين وابتدوا ان هم يوصلوا صوتهم للمدرسه عندهم، وده في سان دييجو، يعني عندنا LA وسان دييجو. انا عايزه اقول حاجه كمان، انا امبارح تشينو فالي يونيفايد سكول ديستريكت هنتكلم فيها دلوقتي بس هقولها لكم بالعربي. نزلوا بوليسي وقالوا المديره بتاعت السكول ديستريكت قالت ان هم لو سمعنا ان اي طفل بيغير اسمه او ليه ميول في تغيير جنسه او اي حاجه لازم نتصل بالاهل ونقول لهم. طبعا دي كانت مشكله كبيره جدا لانها طبعا ضد قانون الستيت وعملوا عليهم مشكله، والجنرال اتورني ابتدى ان هو الاتورني جنرال ابتدى ان هو يرفع عليهم قضيه ومشكله. فانا الديستريكت بتاعتي مثلا اتس ذا نيبر بتاعت الديستريكت دي، فقمت اتصلت الصبح قلت لهم احنا النيبر، يعني احنا الديستريكت اللي جنب تشينو فالي على طول، فانا عايزه اعرف هو احنا بنضبط، يعني احنا عملنا نفس اللي عملته تشينو فالي ولا احنا بنعمل ايه بالظبط؟ الديستريكت بتاعتنا بتعمل ايه بالظبط؟ ماشيه مع الستيت ولا ضد الستيت، ولا هي شويه تنزل بوليسي لينا؟ طيب احنا كبيرنتس حتى لو حاجات يعني استثنائيه لينا وكده. كانت سو اجريسيف في التليفون وقالت لي لا، انتوا مش من حقكم تعرفوا، بدل ما الطفل عدى ال 12 سنه مش من حقك تعرفي اي حاجه عن بنتك، وده اجينست القانون، ويعني ادتني درس. فطبعا انا قلت لها بصراحه انا مش موافقه، وانا هنوصل صوتنا برضو للمسؤولين. فصدقوني لازم بس نعرف ايه اللي بيحصل في الديستريكت بتاعتنا. هرجع تاني بالانجليزي، سامحوني لان لازم النهارده تبقى بالانجليزي شويه. اوكي now I can't. Okay, Jordan, let's go with Jordan. We met at the rally too.
Yes.
And it was great. So I was so moved by your speech. Like when you get in the truck and you speak in the microphone, and you was like really prayers. Like you ended your speech by pray for them. I loved it. Like it was so inspired for me too. It touched me. Like we were all like waiting in the sun, and we were all surrounded with. I was a little bit scared. I will not lie. So surrounded with the police officers and the cars and all of this, and like you were so inspiring. So now you are running for Glendale School District Board. Okay, what made you decide to take this action? It's a huge job. Like it's a big job. Like.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility, but you know, I care deeply about education. Since I was as early back as I can remember, my family has prioritized education. I have 2 master's degrees, and I have looked into educational theory. It was actually kind of thrust upon me in one of my master's degrees, and unfortunately, it was based on Marxist education. And if anybody watching here is curious, you can go read about a Brazilian Marxist named Paulo Freire. That's F-R-E-I-R, Paulo Freire. And he has by far been the most influential person in education, education schools in North America than anybody else. And I was really surprised to see this. He was quoting, you know, Marx, Lenin, Mao, Che Guevara, Castro. And then I came to find out that this was being applied in my local district in Glendale. I was just researching. Huh?
You didn't know that?
I read about it in college, and then I started looking into the curriculum in Glendale, and more broadly as well, but in Glendale specifically, and I kept on seeing his name being cited, or writers who had based their entire careers off of his work, and it's, you know, Marxist educational theory. So then I started researching more and more into the program, into the curriculum, and into the administration, and I started to find out that there were administrators and teachers who were taking very radical stances. And so one of these things, for example, is we have an assistant superintendent named Kelly King. She's been in the district for 30 years. She's held multiple roles. And she actually consults with an organization called Gender Spectrum. And she actually helped them develop a form on Gender Spectrum. And this is a form called the Gender Support Plan. And so this is for a child to then go to an administrator or to a teacher and basically divulge to them that they'd like to change their gender. And she admits very explicitly, we've had 6-year-olds do this in Glendale Unified.
Wow.
A 6-year-old can, you know, some of them can barely tie their shoes, let alone understand what gender they are, or if they want to change genders. To me, this is offensive. I think to most common sense people, this makes no sense.
All of us.
Right.
Yeah.
She also then goes, and on that form that she consults with, and this Gender Spectrum, Glendale Unified has spent thousands of dollars in consulting fees, and she's a consultant with them, and I don't understand how this is not a conflict of interest. On that form, it ranks parents on a scale of 1 to 10 as to how affirming they are of transgenderism of their children. That number will then determine if the school will tell the parent that their child is transitioning.
Wow. Okay,
it is a bureaucratic form ranking parents in order to determine if they will be discriminated against.
Okay.
Right.
This is a very important, I'm sorry guys, it's a very important point. And I want to get back to this for the ranking form. But we have a call from, we'll take it so quickly and we'll get back for the ranking. This is very important. The call will be in Arabic, I'm sorry. Okay. معنا مكالمة الأستاذ رأفت صليب رئيس اتحاد المصريين بالخارج. أستاذ رأفت حضرتك سمعنا؟
مساء الخير يا مدام داليا، أهلا بحضرتك.
مساء النور، ازي حضرتك يا أستاذ رأفت؟
أهلا بيك يا فندم.
أهلا بحضرتك.
أنا بس عايز أقول كده كلمتين، أخد يعني مش عارف أتكلمهم عربي ولا إنجليزي، but let's go there with Arabic. At least everybody in the Egyptian community and the Arab community knows what we're talking about.
أيوة، إحنا الاتحاد المصري.
Yeah, that's correct.
اتفضل حضرتك.
أنا بالأصالة عن نفسي وعن الاتحاد العام للمصريين بالخارج بأمريكا بقدم لك كل التقدير والاحترام على المجهود الرائع اللي بتعمليه في خصوص هذا الموضوع الشائك اللي بيهم الجالية المصرية وبيهم الجالية العربية في كاليفورنيا وفي أمريكا كلها. أنا بحييكي على هذا المجهود، وأنا متابعين كاتحاد كل الحاجات اللي قمت بيها في الفترة اللي فاتت من مظاهرات، وشفناكي وشفنا ناس من الاتحاد كانوا واقفين معاكي وضمتيهم معاكي، معرفش خدتيهم ازاي بس ضمتيهم معاكي.
هعمل اتحاد انا.
طبعا انت عضو في الاتحاد وبنتشرف
أيوة
بيكي وجودك معانا في الاتحاد.
شرف ليا.
فطبعا ده مجهود رائع بنحييكي عليه وبنساندك فيه واقفين معاكي فيه، وكل التقدير والاحترام برضه لقناة الكرمة ان هي ادتك الفرصة انك تتبني موضوع زي ده.
طبعا.
لان ده موضوع حيوي بيمس الاسرة، وطالما وصلنا للاسرة لازم كل الجالية المصرية والجالية العربية تتكاتف وتقف مع كل من يقف ضد هذا العدوان الآثم على الأطفال. أنا مش متخيل إحنا فين وصلنا فين في كاليفورنيا أو في أمريكا كلها على اللي إحنا بنشوفه في الوقت اللي إحنا الحالي ده.
مصدر.
إن أنا أجيب طفل عنده 7 سنين 8 years old 9 years old he's still in diaper، وأنا عايز أسأله أقول له أنت عايز تعمل إيه في الجندر بتاعك؟ وأنا بي بوي أور جيرل.
يس.
وأنا عايز أوجه سؤالي هنا للجفرمنت اللي احنا عايشين فيه معاها، ان هم بيحاولوا دلوقتي بيمشونا زي ما هم عايزين. انا مش فاهم ايه الفلاسفه اللي هم يعني داخله في دماغهم الديمقراط اللي عايزين يعملوه في البلد ديت. انا عارف طبعا واندرستاند احنا ما بنتكلمش بوليتكس بس بنتكلم كلام يعني everybody can see it ان هم زي losing a lot of spots. اللي الناس كتيره جدا من الديمقراط بيروحوا الريبابليك، فهم عايزين ياخدوا الطفل الصغير يبتدي يعودوه بطريقتهم بحيث لما يكبر احنا عملنا لك everything you asked for when he was young. which is not right. صح. لو انت كجفرمنت او كسنت او ك whatever it is government official عايز تدي للطفل 8 سنين و9 سنين تديله ان هو ياخد ديسيجن يبقى بوي اور جيرل، طب ما تخليه يخش الانتخابات. انت ليه منعه من الانتخابات طالما هو قادر ياخد القرار انه يغير الجندر بتاعه؟ طب ما تخليه يشرب سجاير.
صح.
طب ما تخليه ياخد انتخابات.
مظبوط.
طب ما تخليه يسوق عربيه. واي انت بريفنت ان هو يدوق حاجات زي كده والزمان تايم بتقول له لا انا معاك انت وعايز تغير الجندر. احنا في مأساة. انا بحيي الجالية الأرمنية، بحيي الجالية المصرية والعربية، مش يعني اللي هم قدروا يطلعوا معاكي لكن احنا بنساندك، احنا واقفين معاكي، احنا كاتحاد عام للمصريين بالخارج ان شاء الله. احنا يعني كنا شغالين على الموضوع ده بس انا شايف ان انت حمستينا وسخنتينا عليه وانا عايز اناشد كل أسرة مصرية في أمريكا مش في كاليفورنيا بس.
صح.
لأن اللي موجود في أمريكا ليه أخ في كاليفورنيا، ليه ابن عم في كاليفورنيا، ليه صديق، ليه فريند whatever it is.
والنهارده بكره هتنتقل من كاليفورنيا للولايات الثانية. We never know.
Of course once it starts somewhere it's gonna go everywhere.
Yes.
وأنا عايز أقول حاجة ودي حاجة المفروض احنا ناخد بالنا منها، إن احنا كجالية هنا أنا بناشد كل اللي بيسمعني وبقولها على كل القنوات الفضائية اللي موجودة في أمريكا هنا، كلنا نقف مع الاتحاد العام للمصريين بالخارج، نخش نسجل أسمائنا، وزي ما قلت مرارا وتكرارا في كل المناسبات ما بناخدش فلوس من حد، احنا عايزين نبقى جالية قوية. خش تضامن معانا، اكتب كده على Egyptians بالاس united.org، خش يبقى معانا عضو عشان يبقى لينا صوت. ما هنضل موقف اللي احنا محتاجين نبقى فيه كلنا مع بعض نتجمع ويبقى لينا صوت، نكتب جواب نبعته للكونجرس، نبعته للسنت، نبعته للجفرنر هو ايفر الديستريكت سكول ديستريكت whatever it is. كل ما يبقى عددك كبير كل ما يبقى ليك صوت.
مظبوط.
لا انا الوقت اقدر اطلع لوحدي ولا انت تطلعي لوحدك، بس احنا كلنا نطلع ونعبر عن راينا ونقول اللي بيحصل ده غلط. enough. هم بيدمروا العائلات، بيدمروا الاطفال، بيدمروا الكوميونتي. ايه اللي في دماغهم محدش عارف، يعني ايه اللي هم عاوزين يوصلوا له محدش فاهم حاجه، محدش عارف.
مظبوط.
وبناشد كل الناس اللي بيشتغلوا في هذا المجال ان هم يقفوا مع الاسره، ما يقفوش ضد الاسره. في طيار جاي محدش عارف جاي لنا منين. وانا كنت امبارح بتكلم مع ناس في كوميونتي كبيره وبعدين بقى اشرح لهم الموضوع. انا مش عايز اطول عليكي، فناس قالت عليا قالت لي احنا هناخد اولادنا نودوهم برايفت سكول. طب واللي مش قادر يودي برايفت سكول يعمل ايه؟ ولازم الناس تفهم no matter what if you take your kids to private school there's a Facebook there is a TikTok there is a
It's
media
everywhere
there is
now.
social
Everywhere.
media it is going everywhere.
Yes.
You're not going to take your kid from the private school. You're going to lock him in the room in the house, and he's not going to hear anything around him.
Yes.
He's going to hear everywhere. And with kids, they talk to each other. With kids, they listen to each other. الkids بيعملوا influence على each other more than the parents can do on the kids.
مظبوط. Right.
فاحنا we
Right.
stand behind you. We stand
Thank
with you.
شكرا.
As the Egyptian community, as the Arab community, بنحييكي على هذا المجهود
شكراً. ألف
الرائع.
شكر. ألف شكر.
ان ده بيحمي الاسره وبيحمي البيت. واحنا هنا كمصريين كل واحد على عقائده ان كان مسيحي ان كان او مسلم ان كان او يهودي ان كان كلنا بنآمن بما انزل في الانجيل والقران والتوراه ان اللي بيحصل ده ما ينفعش يحصل. ان انت
صح.
تغير
ما
طفل
يرضيش أي
ربنا
ديانة.
خلقه ولد
مظبوط.
وانا اغيره بنت ده
مظبوط.
ما يمشيش معايا عقيده.
مظبوط.
صح.
شكرا ألف شكر يا أستاذ رأفت بجد. شكرا على مداخلتك وعلى كلامك المشجع جدا، وشكرا للاتحاد المصري الاتحاد المصريين في الخارج، وبجد سعدنا بالمداخلة دي جدا. شكرا يا أستاذ رأفت. Okay, so he's the president of Arabic leader United Arabic Community.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so he thanked you guys. Like he really appreciate what you're doing, and he said like he wish all the Egyptian in America join you, and he encouraged them to join you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that's what this is. This is one of the blessings that God has brought us all here is to unite, because
Yes.
this is the great uniter, is
Yes.
our parental rights. And so just back to what you were saying, we believe that there is a system coming from upper academia and that is put into our K through 12 schools, which we pay taxes for, that they promote this type of ideology, whether it be out or underhandedly, and then they turn around and refuse to notify us about these very important mental changes with our children, or if they go to these clubs. So that's really the crux of the issue.
Yes.
And it really does go beyond even that with, the school not informing you about your own child. There are situations like in an elementary school, actually it's my elementary school in Glendale, where there was a field trip and there were two boys who called themselves girls who slept in the same cabin with girls. And the principal of this elementary school emailed that superintendent asking, do I tell the other parents? And she specifically said, no, you do not. You keep it absolutely confidential from all the parents. So there are going to be situations where locker rooms, bathrooms, in this case, a cabin. I would assume that public showers would also be included in that within the school, and no parent will be informed.
Yes.
No parent.
True.
There was a high schooler where a girl had been changing in the boys' locker room for almost an entire year, and no one knew until the end of the year. And all these boys felt, and their parents felt extremely violated that this had occurred.
And to add insult to injury, we, again, to the people who say, well, just take your kids out of the public schools. Well, I'd love to. Can I get my tax money back? We are taxpayers, and in taxpayer-funded schools, public schools, we don't want any of that stuff. We want to talk about these gender issues. We will teach our own children. We don't want anyone else other than the parents to discuss that with the children.
Yeah, and they are basing all of this on, the State Board of Education and local districts are basing all of this on Article 1, Section 1 of the California State Constitution, which says that all people have a right to protect their privacy. And they are giving children the exact same rights as their parents, and actually more rights, because they're prioritizing the child's right over the parents. But the child's right to privacy simply cannot supersede the parents. The child is a dependent of the parents, and it's our legal and our moral obligation to raise our children, to make sure they are safe, to make sure that their privacy is not being violated, especially by a government institution. But unfortunately, the government has intervened in that by abusing the state constitution.
Yes.
So all of these things really need to be challenged in the court.
They're choosing on what they want to tell parents.
Right.
If my child gets caught smoking in school or vaping, they're going to pick up the phone and call me and tell me your child is smoking. And they're not going to care if I'm going to be violent to my child. They're not going to care if I'm going to ground or beat up on my child. They're going to simply tell me your child was smoking.
Yeah.
But if my child wants to be called from Jack to Jackie, oh, his parents might go berserk and start abusing the
So
child.
that tells them.
Any parent that is abusive towards their child, doesn't matter what the child does, should be looked on very seriously, and that child should get help.
Exactly.
But just because of one parent, you cannot judge the whole system of parents.
Correct.
And keep secret saying that, oh, this parent will do this, we're not going to tell the rest of the parents. No, that's not the way it works. If anything, they need to educate parents and help parents to deal with these kinds of situations. And it's not every day your child comes home and says, oh, Daddy, I'm changing my gender. It's not every day that happens. Instead of you secretly keeping it away from me, educate me, educate my children, and help us get through with this. And honestly, just because someone thinks they're a broccoli is not going to make me think you're a broccoli. You could be broccoli, you could be a cat, but don't expect me to believe that you're a broccoli or a cat. For me, you're a man pretending to be a broccoli, and that's the bottom line.
And the schools, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the schools do require students and staff, teachers, to use preferred pronouns. It is a requirement to do that. So this is compelled speech. This is a violation of the First Amendment of free speech. If students choose not to use the preferred pronouns, they will be suspended and eventually expelled. That will be recorded on their permanent record. That has already occurred.
Is that new?
That is several years old in Glendale.
Of course, I didn't hear about a lot
Two
of stuff.
students have already been suspended in Glendale for not using pronouns.
Wow.
Another student and she was special needs. She has a brain injury. She was deprived of her education because she didn't understand gender ideology. She was called a bigot and a transphobe and intolerant. And she is a special needs student who was pressured out of the school district. She had to go and get homeschooled because the school would not accept the fact that she just didn't understand it. And she's Catholic and conservative. She just could not process it.
Wow.
So this is
sad.
Our fundamental American inalienable rights are on the line. And if an adult doesn't use the pronouns, it is literally considered harassment. It is a misdemeanor. And if you do it repeatedly, you will go to jail.
Wow.
And the interesting thing is, from my purview of helping all the parent groups, I come with the message that this stuff that's happening in Glendale, it's probably happening in your district.
Definitely happening.
It's everywhere.
It is,
and that's why we need people to start asking questions and pull that thread. It's not right.
It's not asking any religion or nationality. When they're coming for your children, and they're not hiding the fact that they're coming for your children, and it's going to hit you at the home before...
We want to welcome Betsy. She's with us over Zoom. Betsy is mother of 3 adults. She is English teacher. Since she heard about what's going on, parental rights and all of this, and Betsy, you have been on fire. So spreading the word to many churches and to everyone you know, and in your social media, in your Facebook, and you went to your church, you speak about it loudly, and you advise in the woman meeting. Like, you did a lot of things. We really want to thank you, Betsy, for doing this. So what inspired you to do that?
Well, it's surprising. Just as Lusine and Manuk had never really realized that there was an issue until June 2nd, also, so many of us, and I even talked to so many of my friends, both American, Arab, so many of us are so unaware of what's going on in schools and that parental rights are being taken away. And about 2 months ago, I went into church and a lady came in with a 6-year-old daughter, and she was terrified. She said, please, I want to put my daughter in Sunday school. I want her to learn the Bible because I got a letter from my school district saying that I can't call her a girl. And so she was terrified. She took her daughter out of public school, put her in private, and she said, I just need my daughter to be taught what's right and wrong. So parents are very concerned, and at that point, it just really hit me that we gotta do something. We can't just keep complaining and saying, what are they teaching in our schools? We need to actually do something. And so at that point, I began to just inform and try to educate and what I knew, just pass on what I know to other parents, to other churches, so that we can all become active. And I've been so pleased that so many parents and our church and getting involved. And it was so exciting to discover Leave Our Kids Alone, and to know that a much larger group of parents is getting involved. And we're so grateful to Ben and to your groups as well, and every other parent advocate group that is fighting for our parents' our parents' rights and our children's innocence. It's something so concerning and so heartbreaking. And of course, if daily a child is asked, "What gender are you?" It's going to confuse them. So we need to do something.
Yeah, thank you, Betsy, and God bless your service. I know you're doing a lot. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, and Betsy, you will be with us now. You can share the discussion, and so you will stay with us, right, on the Zoom. Okay. We're happy you are with us today. Okay. We have one phone call. We'll take it so quickly. Okay. معنا الأستاذ هشام من كاليفورنيا.
مساء الخير.
مساء النور، ازي حضرتك؟
مدام داليا، انا بشكرك على البرنامج ده.
شكرا لحضرتك.
I want to thank all your guests. I'm gonna go in English, and that's a very important subject, and everybody needs to know about that.
Thank you.
We as a community and live here in this country, we're facing crisis now. We're facing a big crisis.
Yes.
We didn't wake up now until we see everything has been done as an organized thing against our children and against our grandchildren.
Yes.
Correct.
Those people, they've been planning this for years.
Correct.
It's not something like it's been happening today and tomorrow, and then the state know about it, the district know about it. Every politician and everybody know about this stuff. It's been happening for a long time.
Right.
The public will never even aware of this until it's been shown, it's been already implemented in the school, and then now we're seeing it in the book, we're seeing it already been distributed to our kids and our grandkids.
Yes.
Now, where we go from here, we have to take legal action.
Yes.
Legal action, it has the same road what they take to do everything what they've done. Until today, it's not going to stop by talking. It's not going to stop by discussion. It's not going to stop by politicians. It's going to stop by legal, and we have to take legal action. Everybody has to wake up. All the community. We're not talking religion. We're talking human being, and we're talking about the children now. We're talking about more generation to come. It's going to be heard by them.
Right.
What happened is to recruit children through all things is not right. Now it's been very, very openly because the social media is in the hand of the finger of every child.
Mm-hmm.
We have an evil in the house.
Yes.
We have an evil in every child's hand. It is the phone. The social media and the phone, it's easy, and you're not going to be controlled. The parents are not going to be controlled. I'm not going to be able to control my kids. I'm not going to be able to control my grandkids to see everything what they've been doing in the social media, what they've been doing inside that.
Yes.
Now, I heard, the brother from the Glendale school district.
Yeah.
This
Jordan?
is a very, very touchy situation to each one of us.
Yes.
Either Christian, Muslim, Jew, or whatever his religion is.
Yes.
Now this stuff is gonna put, we're not gonna put our head in the sand and we said, hey, let's do this to do that. No, we have to put our hands together. We'll be as a one organization, one group to try to fight this legally and stop all the state and to stop all the people. We have demonstration. We have a people demonstration. We've done all the stuff in there for different states, different area. But we have not seen much here in California.
Yes.
Why? Because the influence of those people over the politicians is strong and much more stronger. And the politicians is scared from those organizations.
Yes, you're right. Thank you so much.
Dalia, they're not little small organizations. They're very well organized.
Yeah,
and they have a lot of legal teams behind them. They support them a lot. And
we need to be united, all of us. شكرا جدا يا أستاذ هشام. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would love to see the people of California versus the California Board of Ed.
One thing he says about legal action, he's actually right. One of the things that you can do legally is actually what Lusine was talking about. It's so simple to go to your board meetings and actually demand this stuff from your board members. Ask them to put it on the ballot where people could go and vote for parental notifications. And that's the biggest thing we can do right now is go to our board meetings and don't be scared. Nothing's, they're not evil, they're not demons.
Yeah.
Although they may act like evil and demons. But yeah, it's very easy. Just go and say what you need to say and let your voice be heard.
We have the QR code for this to know the update. So, okay, let's go to Jordan. And now you said there is, as the center also said, like we have 2 weeks for new bills coming. Yes. So can you tell us, because the time is running, guys, like we oh my God.
This is flown by.
Yeah. So I want you to explain it simply, because you know our community. So
absolutely.
Yeah, like most of them don't speak like that much English. So I want to explain it simply. What is the new bills now we are dealing with right now, and with our action we can stop it. Right?
Yes. So I prepared a slideshow that it should be broadcast.
It will be in the screen in a minute.
Great.
Yeah.
And there are QR codes on the slideshow. So if you can remove the chyron from the screen, if that's possible for your producers. So I saw that the chyron was going to interfere with the QR codes.
Oh, okay.
Is that possible?
Yeah, we can ask.
I just noticed it before.
Yeah. So let's. Okay. Is that good?
Yes. Thank you so much. This is great.
It's so smart.
So everybody watching.
Yes.
If you're watching this on your iPhone, get ready to screen capture. If you're watching it on TV, take images to scan these QR codes so you can follow these people.
Let me say it in Arabic. كل واحد يمسك التليفون ويجهز الكاميرا وياخد صور من السلايدز دي، عشان السلايدز دي مهمة جدا، والكيو ار كودز دي اللي هتدخلكم على البيلز عشان تقولوا ان انتم مش موافقين. فدي حاجة مهمة جدا. يا ريت كلنا نبقى جاهزين بالتليفون وناخد صور من السلايدز. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you. And I encourage you all to follow the 2 groups that are shown here. The first one is an attorney. Her name is Nicole Pearson. She is following every bill and every inch of progress on these 6 bills. Actually, there are more than this, but these are the ones you really need to know about. Follow her on Instagram at Facts, Law, Truth, Justice. And you can scan that QR code, Nicole Pearson. She is fantastic. And then also follow PERC, that's Protection of the Educational Rights of Kids. Please follow these 2 groups. At PERC, you can actually go through and take action on each one of these bills with an automated email that we're going to see later on these slides. But these are the 6 primary bills that everybody needs to be informed on. AB 1078, AB 5, AB 665, AB 957, Senate Bill 596, and AB 1352. So if we go to the next slide, we can start on AB 1078.
So it's 6 bills, or?
Correct.
Okay.
AB 1078 was introduced by Assemblyman Jackson. Like we had said before, this will require LGBTQ books to be included in local curriculum, the state is going to come top down and force materials onto local school board districts. Right now, we should have the local authority to approve or reject any curriculum, but as we saw in Temecula Valley, Gavin Newsom threatened to fine. He didn't actually fine.
He didn't?
No, he did not.
Okay.
He threatened to fine $1.5 million and required them to spend an additional $1.5 million to accept TCI textbooks. And these textbooks are based on that Marxist educational theory that I had already told you about tonight.
Yeah.
Now, the state would then defund or investigate and again fine local districts if they do not approve these material, and if the districts choose to reject material because it's age inappropriate, they would need a 2/3 majority vote as opposed to a simple majority. If you scan that QR code, you can, again, if you can remove that chyron, thank you. If you scan that QR code, this will take you to an automated email link to email every assembly person, or I'm sorry, every senator who's reviewing this right now on committee. So if we can go to the next.
Let me say that. So جماعة الكيو ار كود اللي تحت كل بيل لو احنا عملنا له سكان هيدخلنا على السيناتورز اللي هم عملوا فوت على البيل دي، ولو كتبنا اي ايميل هيوصل لهم. فالكيو ار كود الموجود على كل سكرين بيخص الناس اللي عرضت البيل دي وموافقة عليها. فطبعا احنا الستة مش موافقين عليهم المفروض يعني، فيا ريت تخشوا بالكيو ار كود ده يخص كل بيل نازله، فكل سلايد هتلاقوا فيه كيو ار كود مختلف. Thank you.
Thank you. The next assembly bill is number 5. This would require teachers to undergo pretty radical training on LGBTQ issues, and it would essentially allow teachers to identify potentially LGBT students, and then, you know, invade into the privacy of their homes and identify which parents would be accepting or not. It would also train students on how to change their names, change their gender identity, their pronouns, expose them to all this information about opposite sex facilities, healthcare services, which does include the use of puberty blockers and hormone therapy, and potentially even referrals to sex-changing surgeons. So this is an extremely important bill to vote no on. Again, please scan that QR code and send out an email right now to oppose this.
You know, Jordan, Senator Ochoa Bogh in the committee who reviewing these bills, she was just saying that in the beginning, right?
I don't believe that she is on any of these committees. She would be on the final Senate vote once it gets out of committee.
I think she's in a committee. She told us.
Oh, okay. If she is, then I'm mistaken.
I just want to say, like, there is some people can hear us.
Yes.
Like, it's not all of them against us.
And even the most radicalized members of Congress, they have been, they are humans. They have a heart. They have children or nieces and nephews, friends with kids.
Correct.
And if we can get to them enough, they will understand. They will become, hopefully their hearts will soften.
Yeah. As the senator said in the beginning, like, it's not about what party you are in. It's about kids.
That's right.
And they need to stay kids.
And if you don't call them or if you don't act on it, they don't know you're okay with it or not. So you have to call and tell them that you're okay or you're not okay with that.
One comment I saw in Facebook, Sophia said, your representative don't know what they can see. You can call their office and share your opinion.
Exactly.
So, which is right. Like, they don't know what we are thinking. So the bill is approved. So, okay, no one say no.
It is our duty to express our points of view on this.
Yes. And just we can scan the QR code. And what should we say in the email?
The email is already actually written.
It's written?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But you simply just need to say, I oppose this. I oppose this bill. And, you know, you have the information on your screen in this presentation, so read it for yourself.
Yeah.
Go and, like Senator Ochoa Bogh said, go and read these bills. They're all available. You can read each one of these and make up your own determination.
Right.
Get informed. What's the worst that'll happen? You'll just learn some more?
Right.
Okay. The next one is AB 665. This one is extremely destructive. And this is by Senator Scott Wiener and Wendy Carrillo. This one would allow children as young as 12 to leave their homes, to legally go into a government residential shelter without parental notification. So the children would exit the home. The children...
Anytime?
After they're 12.
Like they can go at night and like they can...
At any time.
Anytime they just say like, I want to leave the home.
And then they become a ward of the state. The state takes over.
So they become a state property.
Correct.
Oh my God.
And it actually removes the requirements to be for a child to do this. Right now, you have to be required to be a victim of physical abuse or incest or like real physical danger. That requirement is removed.
So there is no situation. Even
it's basically saying if you're a 12-year-old or older and you want to change gender and your parent disagrees with you, that child knows they have the legal right to go and go into a government institution and essentially divorce themselves from their parents.
This is not only dangerous for sexual, or if you want to change your identity. Let's say you take the phone away from your child.
What I was about to ask.
You get them mad. The school will offer them safe haven for 2 weeks that you could go and relax without your parents.
And this...
And your parents cannot do nothing about that.
And this is the system we're up against because getting back into the schools, we believe that there is a system within the schools to propagate this ideology coupled with the laws that we are being attacked from Sacramento.
Okay, this bill is number what? Can we see it?
AB 665.
Can you say it in Arabic quickly? AB 665. البيل دي بتقول إن ابنك لو عنده 12 سنة ممكن يسيب البيت في أي وقت. أكبر من 12 سنة لفوق يسيب البيت في أي وقت ومش لازم يقول لك ليه ويروح لأماكن مخصصة من الستيت. يعني معناها إن الستيت هتاخد ابنك ويبقى بتاعهم هم المسؤولين عنه وهم اللي بيعلموه وهم اللي بيفهموه كل حاجة، وانت ما تقدرش تقول فين ابني او بنتي او انا عايزه يرجع البيت او طب خدتوه فين. مش هيبقى ليك الحق انك تسأل عنه لان هو بعد ال 12 سنة من حقه يسيب البيت ويقول مش عايز اقعد في البيت ويروح للاماكن اللي الستيت هتبقى مخصصة. طبعا ده هيتعلموه في المدرسة ويعرفوا حقوقهم تروح فين وتكلم مين وتعمل كل ده. 12 سنة لفوق لازم نعمل سكان لكل احنا بنعرضها دلوقتي وكمان زي ما جوردن قال الايميل جاهز. يعني don't have even ان انت تكتب اي حاجة او اتصل وقول I oppose this bill. بس ده اللي انت لازم تعمله. لازم نوصل صوتنا. البيل دي بصراحة خطيرة جدا جدا واللي جايين اخطر. هنسمع تاني. Thank you.
And
Thank
please
you,
look at the image of the Senator Scott Wiener.
I saw that.
This is Scott Wiener at a Pride event in San Francisco. This is the man who wrote this bill.
Yeah,
He knows what's best for your kids.
Yeah, he wants your 12-year-old to have the ability to leave home without your parental consent.
That's not fair. Like this, not fair for the kids.
It's an authoritarian government that is getting.
They're going to save your kids from you.
So the next bill is, I just want to keep going here so we can get through them all, is Assembly Bill 957. This one is very important to say no on because it is progressing very quickly right now. It actually does have a representative backing this bill. And it's extremely important you guys understand these three words: health, safety, and welfare of a child, in terms of affirming their transgender idea, their change in gender. If a parent disagrees with this ideology, it will be considered abusive. Okay? Those are the three words that determine whether or not the child is safe. The health, safety, and welfare of a child, that is the legal terminology. And so if a parent disagrees, does not affirm, they will not get custody of their child. Say in a legal dispute, they will lose custody. We have already seen this multiple times. There's an LA City employee who lost the custody. His name's Adam Vena. He has lost custody of his 3-year-old son or 4-year-old son now? 2-year-old son.
Now he's 5.
Now he's 5. Because the mom changed the son's gender and the father
Oh my
rejected
God.
that, and he lost complete custody. He's been tied up in court, and he's lost a bunch of money from this, and it's a real...
And because he's honest, because he can lie,
Yes.
and he said, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yes.
he's honest. Like, this is like, oh my God,
And
it's
again,
a big deal.
this has to be opposed. It's getting advanced. So please follow that link. If you could show that slide one more time, please email right now for AB 957.
Remember, the strategy we're using here, when he says advance, is getting advanced through committees.
Yes.
We don't want them to advance through the committees because then they'll go for vote. And what do you think the state of California generally votes for?
Yes, I'm sorry. I will explain it in Arabic quickly. ممكن نجيب البيل تاني معلش. البيل AB 957. البيل دي بتقول ان لو في الكاستدي في حالات الانفصال او الطلاق، الطرف اللي بيسبورت وبيوافق على تغيير اللي هو النوع من ذكر من ولد لبنت، من بنت لولد، هو اللي هياخد الفول كاستدي. ولو التاني بيرفض الفكرة دي مش هياخد الكاستدي خالص، مش هيشوف ابنه خالص. You want to add something?
I want to add one more thing.
Yes.
If parents are getting divorced and neither of them affirm, then how can the judge determine which parent gets custody?
Yeah.
Will then the custody go to the state
Until they
if there's no
decide.
one else to take care of the child?
Oh my
And then
God.
if both parents do affirm, does one parent who's more affirming get more custody than the other one?
Yes.
This bill
It's
is
ridiculous.
so poorly thought out. It's going to create insanely problematic legal problems.
Yes,
So,
yes, that's true.
you want to keep going?
No, you continue.
Okay.
No, now I can't say anything. I just want to listen now.
SB 596 is the next bill. This one is actually inspired by our efforts in Glendale Unified. We had a third grade teacher show 8-year-olds a video of a grown woman talking to other 8-year-olds in this video, talking about how she was sexually aroused by Jodie Foster in the movie Nell because she was nude. And she encouraged all the children to become, quote, gay icons in this video. And this became an uproar in Glendale. It was in the LA Times. People were really upset. The teacher, whose name is Tammy Tiber, she received phone calls that were from angry parents. And I condemn all harassment, by the way. But this bill was inspired by that situation where Tammy Tiber exposed children to really inappropriate ideas. This bill simply expands the penalties for harassment, giving teachers and school administrators extra penalties if anybody harasses them. I condemn all harassment, but harassment laws are already on the penal code. This is an extraneous bill, and to define harassment, it can be if someone annoys someone for an illegitimate purpose. That is the penal code. That is the language. So if a teacher feels annoyed and they deem it illegitimate, they can fine a parent $1,000 and up to 1 year imprisonment.
So does that mean no parents can talk? We can't say anything. We can't even express what we're feeling.
Now, Portantino
Right?
here claims that your speech is always protected. This
Yeah.
is completely constitutional. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see who gets arrested first, and we'll see if it's constitutional.
Yeah.
They're testing the bounds
It's
of the
the
Constitution.
first right?
Yes, right. That's right.
Yeah.
And
I learned that.
harassment is very specific in the penal code. They are
Yeah.
simply trying to expand that to silence parents.
Oh my
Anything
God.
you say or do, even look at someone sideways, they could be harassed.
Yeah.
And they could find the parent, like you said, $1,000
should-
and up to a year
to
in
a year.
prison, just because you looked at someone, not, you
Right.
know.
Oh my
It's
God.
shocking.
It is, and I'm so glad we bring this up because I don't know about it. So no one knows about it. Like most of my community doesn't know about it. Most of the people, like we're here, most of the immigrants, they are here working so hard, trying to live and trying to educate their kids. So they don't have that time for their kids and the language also.
Yes, and you have to remember that is our strategic disadvantage, that they capitalize on. They seem to want us to just bury our heads in the sand and go to work. And so we have to have 3 jobs now. One job to make money for your family.
To pay your bills.
To pay your bills. A second job to raise your children. And now this has to be a 3rd job. So it's very tough.
It is.
And we all have to stand up now because as you can see all these bills, they're coordinated. They're coordinated with what's going on in our institutions. So we need all hands on deck.
I have one final bill to discuss.
Yes.
If that's all right.
Of course. This is the most important part, to be honest. Like, I want you to explain it, like, as you're doing great.
Yeah.
Because this is important. We need to act so quickly.
Yes.
Yeah. This last bill is AB 1352. It was written by Mia Bonta, who is actually the wife of Rob Bonta, the state attorney general, who has this week announced that he is suing Chino Valley for, he calls it unconstitutional and transphobic, I believe, because they're demanding parental notification if their own children use different names and different pronouns and use different facilities in a government institution. So talk about coordination. This is the wife of the Attorney General.
Yes.
I was speaking about this because my district, my school district for my daughter, is the neighbor for Chino Valley. We are Walnut Valley School District. So we're neighbored, like one street apart. So I called, I was so happy. I said, like, oh, let's get this news. So I said, I called the district and I called like the top of them. I don't know. Yeah, what's her name? I don't remember her name. So, and I asked her, like, oh, I know Chino Valley did this. So are we have any policy like them? Are you really protecting us like them? And she was so aggressive. This is what I was saying in Arabic. Like, she was so aggressive over the phone. No, we are following the state laws. Like, you shouldn't know anything about your daughter. How old is your daughter? And I said, 15 years old. She said, she's old enough to decide what she wants. I said, really? She's old enough? And I said, but she's not old enough in another, I count whatever, like smoke.
Well, can she vote? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, smoke.
Get a tattoo.
Get tattoo. Even drugs, and they have like dogs every day in the school for drugs.
Tobacco.
Yeah. And then I said, no, she's not old enough. Like, what are you saying? And she said, this is what we're doing. I was so disappointed.
Yes.
So with this new laws, oh my gosh, what will happen again? What more? What we are waiting for?
So this law is extremely disturbing.
Yeah.
Because
There's icing on the cake here. Let's hear it.
this law will take any elected official. Let's say you get in the school board members that you all love and support. If you have 2/3 of your school board that disagrees with that school board member, they can just vote off that newly elected school board member at the drop of a hat. So this immediately makes the democratic electoral process, the representative process, completely null and void based on a 2/3 vote of, let's say there are 5 people, you get 3 people to vote against that school board member, you're gone.
I didn't get it. I'm sorry. Can you explain it more? Like, they can fire someone?
They can fire someone based on a 2/3 vote majority on the school board. This is anti-democratic. And now, if you look at this is testament to our efforts, because there was so much backlash against this that this bill was put on hold. It was withdrawn. But she has promised that it'll come back in 2024. So
now it's suspended, or what?
Yeah, it got withdrawn, but she has indicated that she intends to bring it back in 2024 with the same language.
Wow.
Yep.
But it's not there anymore.
Not this year.
Not this year.
Next year.
But if they offer it or they put it next year, we need to say no.
So if you all call and email, and we'll get to the next slide because we have phone numbers.
Yeah.
If you all do your due diligence, your duty as Americans now, you have come to this country. It is time to engage with.
Yes, we are all Americans.
Yes. It is time to engage with the democratic process, like Senator Ochoa Bogh said.
Yeah.
We have to do this. This is why I do it. It is my duty to my God and my country and my children.
Yes.
And to my grandfather who nearly died in World War II to protect this country.
Yes.
I am more than willing to speak truth for him.
Yes.
So this next bill is very important for AB 1078, AB 5, 665, 957. Everybody watching, please take a screen capture or take a picture of this and call every senator on this committee. These are the specific senators who are going to be discussing these bills. Many of them are already in suspense file, so these bills can just die in committee.
Before it goes to the Senate.
Before it goes to the...
Don't let that trick you, though, because they want it to trick us.
Call these senators, and please call Scott Wiener especially and Anthony Portantino especially, to make sure you disagree with what the bills that they have written. Please call everybody on this against these bills specifically. You want to call them or send the emails or do both. If you do both, you are a winner.
Yeah.
And list off each assembly bill.
So Jordan, let me ask you.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if he's not my area.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So
you don't even have to live in California.
Oh, really?
Across the worldwide.
Perfect.
You don't have to live in California. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give your number, where you live. You don't even have to call during business hours. You can call and leave a voicemail.
And leave a message. Yeah.
Yes. They need to hear from you. Call every number here. Take a picture of this, please, if you're watching.
Yes.
And then the next one.
Let me see it in Arabic. So.
Yeah, please.
Yes. So الناس اللي مكتوبة قصادنا دي هي بتاعت الكوميتي أو اللي بيتحط قدامهم الأول القانون، ولو عدى من عندهم بيروح للسنت كاليفورنيا، يعني للسيناتور بتوع كاليفورنيا. فاللي بيقوله جوردن ان احنا لو مش لازم يكون ده الكوميتي بتاعتي انا، بتاعت الاريا بتاعتي او يخصني انا، ممكن انا كداليا اتصل بكل الارقام دي واقول لهم I vote no في ال AB 1078 AB 5 AB 665 AB 957. لازم اسميهم كده واقول لهم انا مش موافق على الموضوع ده. اكلم كل واحد، يعني لو اخدنا 10 دقايق من وقتنا الصبح واتصلنا وبيقول مش لازم حد يرد عليك، ممكن تسيب مسج، ممكن تبعت ايميل. لو كل واحد فينا اتصل بالارقام دي وساب بس مسج، leave a message, don't even wait for someone to answer the phone، بس سيب مسج. ده هيفرق كتير جدا، لان احنا زي ما بيقول جوردن ممكن نوقفها في الكوميتيز ما تطلعش للسنت اصلا. Thank you, Jordan. Okay, continue. Yeah.
And then the next slide is the numbers for the Assembly Appropriations Committee. That's for SB 596. There are a lot of numbers on this one, and it's very important that we call. If you scroll down, there's one more number on the bottom, I believe.
SB 596.
Yeah, this is the one that would fine parents $1,000 or imprison them if they annoy illegitimately.
Yeah. So SB, does that mean it's in the Senate already?
Actually, they start in the Senate or the Assembly, and then they go to the other house. They get approved within those committees. They go to the other house, and they kind of flip-flop.
Yeah, I learned like AB is Assembly
bill,
and SB is Senate bill.
But
so does that mean it's already in the Senate?
Yeah, we're trying to stop it before it goes to the next phase, which is the election.
Correct. So please take pictures of this. I have personally called every number on these lists. I have emailed every email on these lists. I encourage you guys to follow suit. I have led by example. It's the least you can do for your children and for your neighbors' children, your friends' children. But thank you so much for taking the time to look through these.
Thank you, Jordan.
I really appreciate everybody.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for explaining that to you, to us.
And again, follow PERC. And follow facts, law, truth, justice.
Can you tell us more about PERC website?
PERC, the protection for educational rights for kids.
So it's PERK. Is it here? Is it in any slides?
Yes,
there it is, right there. PERK. They're just a lobbying group that shares our values. They've been working during COVID up until now, with all the LGBTQ bills that are coming through, the parental rights bills, and they have been at the forefront, leaders in this. They lobby, they do lawsuits, they do political action, they fundraise, they help candidates. They are exceptional.
Oh, that's amazing. We have a phone call, I'm sorry, but it's in English. Like we have Sophia in California.
Hello.
Hello, hi Sophia.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? هتتكلمي عربي ولا إنجليزي؟
No, English.
Okay.
Okay, well, I just wanted to thank you all for taking the time, to educate the community on this very important issue. I mean, not a lot of people know about it, and since the interview with the senator, I know it's been like such a hot topic. And I also wanted to thank Dalia for using her platform to bring awareness to this issue. And I wanted to thank the senator.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for introducing this issue as well into the community. So I just want to say that Senator Ochoa Bogh is like the most amazing senator ever. She is a wonderful leader, and I definitely look up to her. She's unlike any other representative I have ever seen. She truly cares about her constituents and makes sure that their voices are heard. And I just want to let people know that, your senators are there for you. And if you ever feel strongly about a bill, whether you oppose it or you support it, feel free to call your senator's office, your assembly member's office, because, like I said, they can't see what they can't hear. What? Does that make sense? Okay, anyways. Okay, thank you.
Shafee, I want to ask you a question. As a young lady, you're learning law. I know you're in a law school. So tell us, what do you think about these bills?
Ooh, you know what? Let me circle back to you later. No political answers right now. Anyway.
What they teach them at school?
So I just wanted to thank you guys. I wanted to thank Dalia and the senator. You guys are all doing great, and thank you for everything.
Thank you for watching us. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I want to go back to Perk. Like, you told me, like, there is an email ready.
Yes.
So we don't even have to write it. So can you explain that to us?
Sure, if you follow those QR codes where it says email now on the slides, if you go on to the next slide there, you'll see it. It's an automated email.
It's ready. So we don't have to write anything.
Correct. Yeah.
So if we...
You just need to enter your name, and I believe I don't even think you need to... There will be required fields, but, enter your name and the information...
So is that in the QR code for each slide?
For each bill, that is a specific QR code that will go to that automated email.
Oh, it's ready, and
Ready
it said
to go.
no, or it said yes. It said no.
It's no.
Yeah,
it says
this
no.
QR code said no.
Yes. Yeah. They are in agreement with us. Yes, absolutely.
I want to make sure.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. So because if I scanned and it said yes, oh my gosh, like.
No, they all say no.
So all this QR code said vote no. It said no automatically, so I don't have to write anything, just my name and submit.
Correct.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much, children, for this.
And if you just go to the PERC website under legislation on the tab, it says take action. All of those emails. You can learn more about other bills too, but all of those prepared emails are there.
What is the PERC in the same website?
Yeah, it's on that main
take
one.
Action?
You can just exactly on the top bar it says legislation. Click it. Take action.
Let me see if the director can do that with us. Can we do that?
Yeah, if you can go to PERC.
Let's see if we can.
PERC-group.com.
PERC.
I don't know if you can pull up a browser on this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We're trying. Can we do that? Yes, they are trying.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. PERC is fantastic. It's comprised of lawyers and lobbyists most of them are parents. Most of them are just like you and me. They have concerns about their own kids within the educational system.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
So here we go.
So
I love my team. Actually, they are
fantastic.
so supportive.
Bills we support. There should be a drop-down menu at the top of the. There we go.
Yes.
So under legislation, do you see that at the top? It says take action. There we go. Take action right there. Here we go. Take action today. This is where you can link to each one of these bills.
And the email is ready. I don't have to write anything.
Yes, you can click that link.
Click one for us,
that
Charlie.
black link right there.
Yeah. Click any one for us. Let's see what it said.
You guys are great, by the way. This is.
You can vote right now.
Oh, here we go. So you write your information. Of course, I can't see that much, but it said like name and.
Name, and then you oppose it and send it. Yeah. And it goes to the right people.
So what does they ask? A name and address? I can see.
Name, address,
Name,
phone
address,
number.
phone number, email.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know
Perfect.
what's required or not, but this is all automated, ready to go to oppose these bills.
City and state is not required. It's optional. The address, it seems like the address.
That's probably optional.
The address is required.
Oh.
Yes, and phone and email is required. That's amazing. So it's ready. I don't have to write even anything.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh,
it's all
thank
ready
you.
to go.
So yeah, we can see it. Now I can see it.
And then
Yeah,
you can
thank
even
you.
tweet it at those people. Like if you go back to the top, if you like Twitter, you can tweet at those representatives or you can call them.
Oh, wow. Or email them.
Or email them. So PERC has done a really good job with all of this.
They have all the bills with all the opposing, everything ready to go.
And they will update you on new bills that are coming
Okay,
through.
so if we like register with them or
Yeah.
sign up with that website,
Yep.
they will update me with the bills and everything.
And if you believe in their cause, donate.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. That's very, very like helpful information, guys. So Betsy, you're still here, right? Betsy, can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you.
Yes. Okay, so like we are at the end of the show, so I need all of us to give small advice to the parents. What should they do now to act right now? Quick ones. Okay.
I go
start
first. So,
okay.
if you're wondering where you can start, we just went over that. But, if you want to get activated, what I always say is first, reverse. Shore up your family's faith and your family's moral beliefs. And you need to start bringing these subjects to your children earlier than what you think, because you need to be the first ones to talk to them about your morals and beliefs before somebody else does. And then after that, we need you to seek out your local parent groups. We have built a really close community. I know it's weird, on Instagram. So for us, SoCal_parent_advocates on Instagram, but we need you to plug into your local district or your local city's parent activist groups and plug in with them, find problems, bring solutions, and we need all hands on deck, and appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Ben. Okay. Jordan, last word. Quick.
Yeah, very simple. Speak truth.
Thank you.
If you do that publicly, you will connect with all the right people.
Perfect. Manuk.
You will get a lot of hate, but just remember, parents don't get arrested. The opposing side gets arrested because they're violent and they're vicious. But don't be afraid. Speak up and stand up for your children.
Thank you. Betsy?
Yeah, just let everybody know. So many people don't know. So through email, through Facebook, through every social media, just get the word out there and show people what to do.
Thank you, Betsy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dalia.
The
Thank you.
time is, we have 2 hours and we're finished. Thank you so much for being here, for all the great information we get from you guys. And I want to thank my audience.
Yes.
شكرا ليكم بجد على متابعتنا النهارده وعلى الاستجابات وعلى الرسائل والمكالمات. اتمنى كلنا نتحرك ونعمل حاجه ونشارك عشان خاطر ولادنا ومستقبل ولادنا. شكرا ليكم، استمتعت جدا وانا معاكم النهارده في الحلقه، واشوفكم في الحلقه الجايه من برنامج مصدر موثوق.